Alright, so today we are working with George. He is a 5-year-old Mustang from Massacre Lake, California. This is his second session with the flag, I believe. He has a hard time with the flag, so we've broke it up into a couple different sessions. We have also worked with the whip before to teach him, like rubbing him down with the training stick or the training whip. So that's the same motion and same approach, but without the fabric on the end of it. So something to note here is that I keep my rope shorter than my flag so I can keep his head tipped towards me, as you saw there. And I just go in for that approach on his shoulder because that's his area of the most confidence. And I like to, once he's accepted the flag approaching him, I like to get right in and make a contact on the shoulder so that it's not something he's anticipating. If you ever think of how anxiety works, a lot of times it's the anticipation of something happening rather than the thing actually happening. It's really nerve-wracking when they're overthinking it and going, this bad thing's gonna come to me. But if you can bring that flag right in and rest it on their shoulder, you can allow them to move around while it's touching their shoulder, like I do here on his hip. I allow him to move around. It's there with him, but it's already on him, so it's not something he's anticipating, it's something he already feels. So as he settles into it, what I'll do is I'll rub my way down his leg. I'm watching for a sign of tension. Right there he checks in with me, so I go ahead and take it off, and I say, good job. And then I'm going to bring it back in as he draws back away, and I'll just kind of I'm working my way lower and lower down his leg. And when he does well, I release and give him a pat. I'm going to go in there again, and I'm watching to see where his comfort zone is. There he's a bit tense, you can see how his ears kind of cock, so I'll just move my way back up his hip. There his head starts to drop oh so slightly, so I'll start working my way back down again. Right about there, he goes, So I stay in that place. When he touches me, I stop moving the flag, and then I'll take it right back up his hip to where he's more comfortable. You can see here how every time I do that, there's kind of a give and take, and the tension was building there. You saw him move away, but because I kept the flag on his hip, I'll keep it there till he stops moving, and he learns, okay, moving away doesn't make the flag go away, standing still does. And you see, I don't make a big deal out of it when he moves. I allow him to have that moment, but I don't stop what I'm doing. That's crucial. Okay, so I keep that flag there as that kind of tension is continuing to be there. When he stops moving, I'll release back up to his hip. Now you can see here, if you look, how I look at his hip, look at his leg, look at his face. Don't get hyper-focused on their back legs and forget to check where they're mentally at by looking at their face. So there I had hyper-focused on him for a minute, and he started to tense up, and then he started to move away. No big deal if you miss it, just stick with them until they move away. Then move the whip back up their leg. Again, stick with him till he moves away. Stick with him while he moves away. You see how I have a shorter hold on my lead rope at this point in time, so I can control the move away enough that I can keep my whip on. Then I rub on his hip. There he's holding some tension. There he's starting to kind of continue to build. I'm just going to stay with him through this moment. I'm not going to abandon him to this moment. I'm not going to let him get a release until he finds relaxation. So there he's quite tense. You see how he's trying to stay wrapped around me though, but his head is just holding a lot. He's gonna move off again. There he actually stayed through, and so I said, you know what, buddy? That was really good that you stayed through even though you were super tense. So I'm gonna give you a positive reinforcement there to just say, good job doing what you didn't want to do. You stayed put. Now this takes me a minute because I don't have much in my pocket. So I'm going to dig it out there. And you'll notice I wait. Did you see how he stood there and hesitated. He didn't reach for my hand. I brought my hand to his nose. That's important to me. If they start digging in your pocket while you're getting their treat out, that's not okay. That can get dangerous. They have to maintain that space and refuse the treat. I'll link a video on how to teach a horse to refuse a treat for positive reinforcement training purposes up in the corner and in the description below. So here I'm just mixing it up a little bit. He was stuck. He had that really good moment where he did that thing that I liked and stood still even though he was tense. So now I'm just going to kind of bring the whip around both sides of his eyes, let him move around. So here I'm bringing it into his right eye, but I'm not going to just come straight over and put pressure on. I'm just letting him see it out of both sides. So I let him touch it with his nose, letting him smell it, letting him engage with it, and then I'll bring it over to the other side again. Working on switching eyes because he can get very one-sided. All horses can. And you see there how we're working on that approach a little bit. I go, hey, can you see it? And now take it to your shoulder. He's going to follow that movement that he's thinking of. I'm bringing my arm out with my rope hand because I have too much line. So I'm trying to kind of shorten that distance here. Like I mentioned in another video, it's real important to have a short rope if they're moving towards you, but because he's already kind of shifted it away from me, I wasn't quite as concerned about it. And what I'm working on here also is bringing his energy level up and then back down. It's really important because the world is not a soft, squishy place for horses. There's lots of things they have to deal with that alarm them. But if they can learn to be slightly up and then come back down when you offer them some support, that's good. So here we're working on that approach again. That moment where he's anticipating that flag touching him is a scary moment for him. So I bring it in and then I let him find that moment of relaxation while it's touching him. And you saw he wasn't totally relaxed, but he's learning to stay put. Here I'm actually asking him to move because he was just a wee bit frozen in that frame. Like I said, he was not relaxed, but he was staying put. So I'm going to ask him to move around me to the right. Everything's in his right eye, which is not his favorite thing. And then when he moves around, he can start to just get that freeze out of him. And then I'm going to let him engage with the flag. These are all little pieces of a less than perfect moment. But the positives are letting him move with that flag in his right eye. Letting him check in with that flag on his right eye. And then I bring it to his shoulder, to his comfort zone, and there you saw him take a breath right before he started to move off. Why did he move off? Because I got greedy, and right as he started to accept it, I moved it back to his hip. But I'm playing a fine line here, because you have to find where is working in your comfort zone, your horse's comfort zone, and where is growing it. So here I'm going, all right, I'm moving on his shoulder. He stood really relaxed there, so I'm going to give him a treat because that was really good. And I want to take a moment to recognize, hey, I know this is hard for you. Here's a reward because you did it really well that time. You can see the effect that moving him off had. You can see how right there he uses emotional control. He goes, and then he goes, oh, yeah, okay. I feel pretty good. You're going to watch the relaxation come over his body. You notice how his poll is dropping. His ears are now lower than his withers. He's licking. He's chewing. His ears are soft and forward, but not perked. Not totally out to the side. Right there he goes, There's a little moment of tension as I move the whip back, and then he returns back down to his state. He blows out with his nostrils. He licks. He chews. He's swallowing. That's all really good signs. The horse won't eat if they're tense, which means they won't lick and chew. Licking and chewing is good for their stomach because their saliva contains bicarbonates that keep them from getting stomach ulcers. So a stressed horse will get a stomach ulcer, but a relaxed horse, their tummy feels good. So it's really good to see him start to physically come down out of that stress state. mentally come down out of that stress state. And this is just really great to see. Here on his right side, his weak side is getting quieter and he's learning to find his peace. So I'm going to end this video here, just seeing how he's relaxing and having a really good time with this. We'll still spend some more sessions working on this till he can't get it wrong, but this gives you kind of an idea of how we start to work at this.